Hello everyone. Well, today is just gonna be us discussing about biases and how to deal with losses and wins. It's gonna be a short video. I'm not gonna, go into too much details because I don't think it's necessary. But what I do think is necessary is talking to you about the most misunderstood topic in retail trading psychology. Okay. Of course, you have a brain, you're conscious of what you're doing. You might have biases, and biases are simply things that would push you to act more in a way than in another way, and not necessarily rationally and logically, but you want to act logically and rationally. So, one of the big mistakes that traders make is basically when they take a trade, they would act in a way that they would do anything to avoid pain. So if the trade goes against them, they would start becoming optimistic, thinking the trade would reverse to their advantage so they could uh, take the trade in profit. But what happens is most of the time they either hit the stop loss or hit the margin call, right? That's bad. So the rational action to do, the logical action to do is when you are at a loss, you close your trade, right? Okay. And what they do wrong as well is when that the trade goes in their direction with them, they close the trade instead of scaling up and putting more money and winning more money, which is irrational, but that allows them to feel good because they secure profit. The problem with that is on paper, when you'll journal your trades like we talked about, you will see that you'll have very small wins, very big losses, because you're too optimistic and not rational and logical in your action. What you should do is the complete opposite, basically. When you take a trade and the trade reverse against you, you close the trade. When it goes with you, you put more money, put more money, put more money, right? And you scale up. And then when the momentum fades, then you scale down and then you get out of the trade. This will allow you to have very small very small losses and very big wins. صح? Okay, that makes sense. Now, of course, there is still one thing that you will need to go through anyways, because even if I explain it to you, you'll still go through it, you'll still feel the pain of it, you'll still feel it, and then you'll probably understand it. But just think about it. Keep what I'm gonna say in mind so when it happens, you can realize it. What happens most of the time is we focus on one trade. Again, trading has delayed feedback. Trading is not based on one trade that you win or lose. Trading is based on the compounded trades that you take and that must be profitable at some point. This is why we add risk management into it because you want to limit your downside, take trades, take trades, take trades, and that will increase your upside no matter what win rate you have. Okay, and then you adjust your strategies, you adjust your way of doing, your way of taking trade, you adjust your direction and your analysis, you improve everything in any kind of way that you want, and you'll have that delayed feedback that you'll see on your journal later, but you cannot see it now. But what happens most of the time is that when people take a trade and it's a loss, they overreact. When it's a win, they overreact as well. So you might create risk aversion in a side or overconfidence in another side. And these are two very big biases for the simple reason that, let's say, okay, you have 3 wins in a row and you feel invincible and you think, okay, that's it, my strategy works. But no, it's not only the strategy, it's you as well. So the strategy might work, but you applied it good. However, when you'll feel overconfident, you'll stop applying it in a good way, and that will make the whole empire you built crumble. Or on the other side, when you have a losing streak, you have 3 losses in a row, you might say, my strategy doesn't work. Well, it might be your strategy, it might be you applying it wrong. However, it doesn't say that you're applying it wrong because you have 3 losses in a row, or it doesn't say that you're applying it right because you have 3 wins in a row. It doesn't either say that your strategy is good because you have 3 wins in a row, or that it's bad because you have 3 losses in a row. Okay, you adjust everything. It's all about probability, it's all about risk management, it's all about applying the strategy the right way. But you will only understand that when you'll have a lot of trades on your journal. You'll look at your mistakes, you'll look at what works, doesn't work, you'll remove what doesn't work, you'll remove what doesn't serve, you'll keep the valuable information, the valuable applications of it, you'll stop the mistakes that you do, you'll apply it. This is why mentorship is so important in trading. You need someone that knows, that can follow you, so you can limit your downside, increase your upside, avoid the mistakes that people make, increase what you might do that will be valuable for you, and you will just like go through the easy path. But if you have to do everything yourself, you have to go through the pain to understand it. And well, that is basically increasing the downside first, before decreasing it, and then before becoming profitable. So it takes just more time and more pain, and you might just end up stopping trading in the meantime. But you don't want that. You want to become a trader, right? So find a mentor. That's basically the whole point. But because you might not find a mentor, I mean, I'm here, right? But because you might not, I don't know, take the step to get a mentor and get good at trading, and you want to do it yourself, my aim is to basically help you help yourself. So these biases, just keep them in mind. Just try to avoid them. Never think that the world is ending because you had a loss. Never think that you're becoming rich because you have a win. It is just one trade. And if it's on 15 trades, okay, then you may start thinking it. But never change. But if your strategy works, never change your behavior. And if you have a bias, then it's hard, of course. However, you reduce, that's my theory. As long as you increase your knowledge, your practice, and you don't think about, do I do it right? You did it so long, you did it so much that you're sure about what you're doing, you're certain about the application of your strategy, and it works, and you proved that it works, then you reduce the biases because you won't think about it anymore. Okay? And even if you think about it, you'll still be applying your strategy the right way because you know that it's delayed feedback, and you know that it's profitable, and you just take the action that you should take at the moment that you're taking it. It's easy, right? But it's just realizing that at the beginning that will allow you to remove the noise, focus on the valuable information, and try to increase the knowledge, to reduce the biases, to reduce that psychological part that makes no sense to me, and to go for it and to aim for the best, right? So the best strategy, the best application, the focus, the focus, the focus. So stay focused, and I'll see you in the next video.